Our next appointment, or our first scheduled appointment, is for 6:45 p.m. It's a dangerous dog hearing.
I brought the two Huskies to the Oxford Animal Shelter for a 10-day quarantine, and Mrs. DeJesus signed a surrender form for the 10-day hold. Ms. DeJesus explained that the dogs pushed open some boards under the deck in order to get out. Due to the fact that the dogs have been loose so frequently, and the fact that when they are loose they tend to be aggressive towards other animals, the town of Charlton has kept custody of the dogs for public safety reasons until the hearing authority makes a ruling. The DeJesuses had another pair of Huskies that were frequently loose until they were hit by a car and died. That was in 2014. I have enclosed a copy of their complaint history as well, because it shows a pattern of several of the DeJesus' dogs being at large for a number of years.
Do you want to state your name, please?
Sure. My name is Jeremy Cohen, and I'm representing the dogs and the DeJesuses. I'm assuming everybody just testified from their side. I think we have all the facts out there. Just a brief statement with some facts from our side. It's not right what happened with these goats. And my firm, we represent responsible pet owners. So you could say, then why are you sitting here? Because we can all be better pet owners tomorrow than we are today. And in meeting with the DeJesuses and the team they've put together, I actually believe that we have a plan where these dogs could be kept at their house without a problem. And that will come out. Now there's been 15, the animal control officer read 15 different times that dogs from this house have got loose. Now, it's unfair because 8 of them have nothing to do with these 2 dogs, and this is a dangerous dog hearing about these 2 dogs, but now it's out there. It's absolutely their fault that these dogs get out. It rolls out to them. But I got to ask 16 times, 15 times, where is the animal control officer? Where is anybody coming to their house and saying, you know, let's look at this. Why are they getting out 15 times in 6 years? Let me look at your fence. So in January of 2019, animal control officer goes to the house to inspect the kennel. She notes that this is a fenced-in yard, and she approved it. Did she look at the fence? Did she actually go in and, this is for a kennel license, did she actually go in and look around? This isn't her fault, but there's a lot of help out there, and I think that if they had had some suggestions like training, how to leash the dogs, how are they getting out so we can stop that? Who are they getting out with? A lot of these, they were self-reported that the dogs got out, but also their son was a problem. And their son's probably known to the town, and he's responsible for some of the times where the dogs, he was walking them and they were essentially set free. And that's not right, but they've took a measure with that, and their son is out of the state as of May 21st. It's concerning to me, and I appreciate the words that are up there. I just want you to get to the right decision the right way. And it might be that these dogs should be put down. I don't think they should be. I think that's an extreme remedy for what they've done. When you can't contain the dogs, you don't kill the dogs, you improve the containment. And I'm very disappointed that nobody who should know more than my clients has shown up and said, here's all the things you can do. I mean, there are hundreds of things you can do with these dogs to get them to not escape anymore. Fortunately, they have somebody on their team who will share some of the things that they've done. Of course, it's their responsibility too, but just as concerning about getting to the right decision the right way, there is no law, there's no authority, and this goes for everybody in this room because it could be any one of them, that this town has a right to hold these dogs right now. The 10-day quarantine is for the rabies protocol only. You can look at the Mass Department of Agriculture CMRs, Mike Cahill. He would like her job for doing that. We're not pushing that. 14157, the animal inspector's guidelines in the town bylaws, none of them address the fact that after the 10-day quarantine, you can hold them. Public safety, show me the law under which you can hold them. There is no law. It's an unfair taking. And that's concerning to me. equally as concerning as 2 dead goats, because you can't just hold somebody's property like that. That's a violation of their constitutional rights. And they're calling, no, it's our choice. No, the law isn't a choice. And I've read 2 statements from the goat owner. It's troubling to me, because in the first statement to police officer, he says, I was there, I fed my goat, played with them from 8:30. He had an appointment at 10:30, left the house at 9:15 in the morning. He comes back. He told the police officer, when I come back, I see the dogs in the pen. Everybody's alive still. I go in the house to get my rifle. I come out, the goats are dead. So that would make it seem pretty obvious how the goats died. But then in his statement, his own written statement, which was provided to me today, he never mentions that. He never saw the dogs in there while the goats were alive. So essentially, he saw the goats. He says in his written statement, after he left around 9:15, comes home around 10:30, doesn't check on them, goes in the house. At 10:50, comes out and sees 2 dead goats and sees our dogs in there. Anybody, and I don't know if they killed the goats or not. I think we should assume they did so we can get some real remedies here. But was a proper investigation done? There's a certain way. The animal control officers ranked number 1 in their class. There's a certain way to investigate these. If you look at these puncture wounds, did anybody do the investigation on the goats to see, was it these dogs? I've represented dogs that have blood on them with dead goats, and it's not the dog, it's coyotes. So I'm questioning the investigation. That's why I think it's important that we're getting a fair hearing here. I'd like to elicit a little bit of testimony, especially about the remedies that have happened, to see if we can bring some sense of community, some sense of security to the community. It is distressing that these dogs got out that much, and I think we might have a way to deal with it. Unfortunately, rehoming them is not an option, and I understand the animal control officer may have found a rescue, but it's pretty hard to place dogs with bite histories at a rescue.
In spite of everything you've done, and I appreciate everything you've done, obviously you've gone to great expense to try and keep the community safe. But I worry about what happens if this doesn't work.
What I can say is they're feeling the pain, and not that this matters, I wouldn't take a case if the client doesn't feel the pain, and we had a heart-to-heart, Kevin and I, because this is it. The next time, under the law, if there is even the next time, they could be, actually can be shot, but they can be taken, he can be do time, some jail time and a fine. So it shouldn't come to this, but it has, and they are taking it serious now. And everything you mentioned are things they should have done, but things that they still can do. Getting training for themselves in the dog, putting something in the front besides just the electric fence. Fact is, one good thing is there's been no human aggression. Even when they've been chased with weapons and stuff, they haven't responded to humans.
I would move that Mr. DeJesus surrender Cato to the ACO for the sole purpose of having the dog rehomed through the Husky Rescue Organization mentioned in her letter dated May 29th, that the female dog, Jade, be remanded back to the custody of the owners. And in 2 weeks' time, you will submit a report to us, letting us know, please, how the situation is going, so that we can revisit the issue in 2 weeks.
Actually, that works.
Make sure that Jade is,
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that works, at least for me. I mean, because that.
Well, then give me a second.
Second.
Thank you.
so we have a motion and a second. You want to change it again?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
I did want to mention that, as Ms. Noble had mentioned, our ACO has provided us a letter with excellent recommendations,
Yep.
and I would ask that the dog being returned home needs to adhere, they need to adhere to the second portion of that letter,
Okay.
but the recommendations that you make if they're home.
I amend my motion to state that the owners, the DeJesuses, adhere to the list of stipulations in the May 29th letter submitted by the ACO, which will be provided to the DeJesuses and their counsel
I don't believe that we can ask them to adhere to any orders
But we,
unless they're deemed either a nuisance
Nuisance,
or a dangerous dog.
and we would ask them to adhere to such stipulations because we would declare Jade a nuisance dog.
Which is not dangerous. Second.
Okay?
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. The only discussion I'll add is I would urge you, this is all I can do, urge you to hire a trainer to work with you and Jade. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously.
Okay.